Welcome back, America. You remind us the phrase is peace through strength, not peace through appeasement. Now, let me ask you about peace through strength. In the Middle East there, let's say Israel had a ceasefire with Hamas, and Hamas survives beyond where it is. And let's say that they accepted the urgings of Biden and didn't take on Hezbollah the way they did. And let's say that they signed some document with Iran right now. Would Israel be safer? Would the West be safer? Would the Arab countries in the Middle East be safer? What would it look like there?
No, Mark, no one would be safer. And I think President Trump put it well late last week in an interview when he says all these people who are calling for peace don't understand that it means Iran never having a nuclear weapon. If Iran has a nuclear weapon, there will not be peace. And in some ways, what you propose is really back to the future. It's what we saw in 2015 and 2016 after the disastrous nuclear deal with Barack Obama and Iran. It's the mess that President Trump inherited. Iran was growing stronger. We had sent it hundreds of millions of dollars that it was using to fund terror groups like Hamas and Hezbollah and rebels in Yemen. They were still working on their vast nuclear infrastructure. They're still developing ballistic missiles. We see now where that missile program is taking them. They can target Israel. They can target our troops. Within a couple, 3 years, they could probably target us here in the United States. Furthermore, they'd be able to target us not just with conventional warheads, but with nuclear warheads. And they're already, again, terrorizing America. They're shooting ballistic missiles in civilian neighborhoods in Israel, killing innocent women and children. Just imagine what they would do if they had the deterrent of a nuclear umbrella. And imagine what our friends in the Arab world would do as well. I don't think they'd sit idly by while Iran had a nuclear weapon. So it would be a much more dangerous world for the United States and for peace and stability throughout the Middle East.
Again, as you did, you have to imagine the possibilities if this isn't stopped and stopped now. If we didn't have President Trump doing what he's doing and Benjamin Netanyahu doing what he's doing, you would have, as you point out, these other countries, an enormous proliferation of nuclear forces in the worst part of the world when it comes to terrorists. And the Israelis, of course, it is said, they have nuclear weapons too. They're not going to just sit there. So the people who keep talking about peace, 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 that's very nice. I remember they used to talk about peace in the 1960s and Haight-Ashbury and stuff like that. Just because you put a suit on it and you call yourself a person of peace doesn't mean your positions are going to bring us peace. Isn't Donald Trump's foreign policy quintessential MAGA, America First foreign policy? He's trying to negotiate. He's trying diplomacy. Our military's being built up. But on the other hand, as he did with this statement, you lay a finger on the hair of an American soldier, we're going to take you down. Isn't that peace through strength, not this kind of radical appeasement and isolationism?
Yeah, Mark, a lot of the same people right now who are criticizing the president, who are saying that he doesn't understand his own movement or he's abandoning his own America First foreign policy, are the same people who warned that World War III was going to break out in 2020 when he authorized the strike that killed Iran's terrorist mastermind, Qasem Soleimani. And as President Trump said just yesterday, it's his movement. He helped create and shape and direct the Make America Great Again movement. He's the one that's defined the contours of the America First foreign policy. He's the one who was elected by the American people, just like 535 members of Congress were elected by the American people to make these decisions, not so-called influencers or podcasters. No offense, but they don't have authority and accountability under our constitutional system. So President Trump is right that he's the one that sets the course for foreign policy. Congress has its say, obviously, as well, and that we simply cannot trust the Ayatollahs of Iran to have the nuclear weapons. Maybe one day the meek will inherit the earth, Mark, but until then, the strong have to protect it. And if the lion is to ever lie down with the lamb, it's still much better to be the lion.
Brilliantly put. And the thing is, you can disagree with the president, even this president, and so forth and so on. But I don't see this as disagreement. I see this as trying to bully him and threaten him and undermine him and warn him. That's a totally different thing, and it is absolutely despicable. Senator Cotton, I want to thank you for your past service and your current service. God bless you, my friend.
Thank you, Mark.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.